Laia, thank you so much for being here with us in this interview. You have launched 1 month ago, probably, the Barcelona Deal. Tell us a little bit more about, more or less, what is it about?
The Barcelona Deal is a citywide consensus building process to agree on a joint roadmap to get out of the crisis. The time in which we are focusing is the next 1 year and a half. So it's a middle term project, and it's a roadmap that we want to build not just within the city council, but also adding to the table the main actors of the city, the main economic, social, and environmental actors of the city. Probably we could say that the process is as important as the output of the Barcelona Deal. So consensus with all city stakeholders, beyond political actors, so beyond political groups represented in at the city council, building this vision of what should be the way out of the crisis in Barcelona, involving in this process all the stakeholders of the city, implies a co-responsibility also in the implementation of this roadmap.
Who is leading this initiative at this moment? How can we listen? How do you do that?
In fact, we are leading all together. We even decide to offer to be the chair of each of the sectorial groups that we created beyond the main table, to offer the chair, the role of chair of these groups to the opposition, to the political parties represented or political groups represented there at the city council, and the sectors. So, as I said, we had the idea to build a table to reach a joint roadmap. But then one of the main difficulties we had was the number of actors or stakeholders invited to the table. So we didn't have time to make a consultation. We need to take a decision, to make a decision very, very urgent. And we wanted to, as I said, strengthen local democracy. That meant including at the decision-making process new actors, not just the traditional ones, as many as possible, but at the same time, making the decision-making process effective. So we couldn't have a table with 400 actors. So we considered the operative perspective also, and then we decided beyond the main table, we decided to create 4 thematic groups, one about economical recovery, the second one about creating a new model of city considering the new normality. The third one, social rights and social emergency. And the last one, working on education, culture, science, and the international perspective of the city. But considering also the weight of all which is included within the digital area, we create a subgroup inside the economical thematic group, just only about digital economy, including actors that never had been invited until now to a participatory process.
Which one is the most immediate challenge that you are facing at this moment? Because it's always a all the time challenging project. In which moment are we right now, and what are the challenges that you are facing at this moment?
one of the restrictions or the unintended consequences we had is that we didn't have, as I said, as much chairs as we want at the main table. So we create 4 subgroups, but at the same time, we didn't have as time as we need to allow all the stakeholders invited to express their concerns or their proposals. So what we made sure is that every actor invited could send their proposals, and the work done by each thematic group will be added to the main document.
But how this co-responsibility of each one of the chairs of the partners will have the opportunity to implement their ideas? Do you have any kind of monitoring system? Have you modified any kind of rules inside of the city in order that those things can be implemented?
So in fact, it's a co-creation process that leads to a co-responsibility way to implement the deal. And it was very important. It was relevant to reach this output. The decision of creating a monitoring of the actions impact to a set of follow-up indicators.
Okay, how do you communicate this to the community?
So at the beginning, when we announced the project, it was announced in a very traditional way. But obviously, what is important here is all the stakeholders that can represent the city are invited. They bring also the message to their sectors.
Which could be the main lessons that you would think that could be interesting for the other cities?
I think the first one is that even in a very, very, very difficult situation, we have found an opportunity to learn, to experiment, and to find a new way to participate, or new participatory mechanisms, where flexibility is very important, or has been very important. So the second lesson may be that sometimes you don't need to change rules. You just need to have the will, the political will, and obviously to find the consensus. Another lesson, I think that, and probably one of the most important ones, is that participation with a purpose is better. So if we don't know, but if we had tried this new decision-making process without the situation of the post-pandemic crisis in our city, I don't know if it would have worked like it's working now. The last lesson would be that this process has shown us that compromise is useful. And this is a very, very, very important message.